that as a guide, as a coach, as a mentor, really and truly, you want someone who's maybe a couple steps ahead of you, because they
Yes.
know, like, really intimately where you're walking right now. And yes, there's absolutely value for people who are, like, they're kind of like complete on the path. But really and truly, as you're navigating those challenging portions of the journey, to have someone
Hmm.
who's like, okay, I've got you, you can do this.
Right. And I often feel that that I've taken certain bullets so that other people don't have to.
Mm,
Especially depending on where they are in their journey.
yeah.
If I had, I left a particularly destructive relationship a number of years ago, and I wish that I had better understood what it was in terms of what it had done to me, and
Mm,
how it had warped a lot of my perceptions of myself, as well as certain realities of the personality of the other person, because then I would have made very different decisions about
mm,
how to leave that. There's no question that I would have taken my children and gone to a shelter if I
mm,
if I had better understood where I was at the
right,
at the time.
right.
And so now, I've actually had conversations with other women, and there was one woman in particular who was about to do what I had done, and I said, "Oh no, 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 no! Do not leave
Mm,
without your children. Do not."
mm,
And so it's great to be able to share things from a real place
yeah,
of knowing.
yeah, truly. Yeah, I joke that I have a flat spot on my head. I joke, I think I was born with it. I joke that I was born with it because I was going to decide to take the hard route in life so many times, right? So it's like, okay,
Yeah,
so other people don't have to. So other people don't have to.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So what do you think were the biggest challenges, or are the biggest challenges in this process, right? Recognizing that we're all constantly in process.
Uh, being kind with myself,
Mm,
being forgiving of myself. One of the things that's, it's one thing to figure out my own stuff and figure out how I got here, and now I can learn the tools and the skills and the mindset and
yeah.
the way of, I can heal myself fine. I can bring the closure that I need to bring fine. It's it's when I reflect on the things that I have done that have hurt other people, that
Mm,
is that is really, really hard to um to manage
yeah.
at times. That's
Yeah.
that's really difficult. And something that used to be a challenge but isn't anymore, and I'm mentioning this because I think it's really helpful, is I used to get so frustrated when I would think that, when I would learn something, I would handle a situation well, and I would think, "Oh, I'm all better now. I'm all fixed now." And then
Sorry,
something, and
I'm
then
laughing with you. I'm
right?
laughing with you.
Okay, exactly. And then and then
Yeah.
and then a situation would come up that I wouldn't handle so skillfully, and it would be like, "Oh, I'm still sick. I'm still a
Mm,
mess. I'm still an F
mm-hmm.
up and everything." And it's like, "No, you're just human." And
Yeah.
realizing that part of that has to do with this, um the mindset around making mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and that being something else that I could trace back, always wanting to be right and always wanting to be perfect, because I needed that validation and all of that stuff. And sometimes there wasn't a tolerance for making mistakes
Mm-hmm.
either, and things like that can be so hard on kids. But it's just the constant going back, and it's like, oh, that's where it comes from. And and also just not judging all of that, just noticing it and accepting it without having to get into a whole story about how unfair it was that I didn't,
Mm,
that stuff, the stories really need to be dropped. There comes a point when
yeah.
they're not, it's not beneficial. And so
Yeah.
really the practice becomes just being able to notice my stuff
Hmm.
when it's happening, and it's like, oh, there's that. And it actually reminds me of a story. One of my favorite teachers, Ram Dass, in one of his many lectures, he talks about how, even though he studied all of this Buddhism and practiced all of this meditation and done all of this yoga and the psychedelics and all of this stuff, he said, I don't think that I've cured a single neurosis. I just call them my schmooze and I invite them for tea. And, I heard that and it's like, that is it. That is it exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, there's my wounded inner child. Oh, there's my need for validation. Oh, there's my this. Oh, there's my that. And it's like, and okay, so what would be the best way of dealing with this today,
Mm,
given what I've got? And it's just, it's just going through life. It isn't even about, managing trauma or anything like that. It's like just what to do when this happens. And
yeah.
that's a really great place to be, is
Yeah.
being able to do that, to just notice and tend to it. And that, I think, is like that's all, that's what the work is.
Mm,
So this idea that I need to fix myself, this idea that I'm broken and I have to fix myself, it's like,
mm,
I'm not broken. I'm unskilled, or,
yeah.
this is a maladaptive behavior, or,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's it. So what can I do instead?
Yeah. Yeah. And truly, being able to come from that choice point where because we're all running a pattern, multiple patterns about how we show up in
Yes,
life. And if we're not aware of it, it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means we're not aware of it. So as we develop that awareness, then we have choice.
correct.
Okay, so here I go, or here I have this tendency to go, and I can feel myself getting ready to react in a certain way, and to be able to be like, okay, so that's an option.
It
It's
is.
an option. Would I love that? Or would I love to show up differently here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And if it's differently, well, then what does that look like?
Hmm.
Who is the woman I am becoming?
Right. Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? Yeah. And
Yeah.
those are exercises, but those are things that I need to look at, quite frequently as different things come up. You mentioned the position at Pratt and Whitney. That's a relatively new thing. So I really had to give some thought, and it's something that I've never done before. And it's very much I know that I can do this. I haven't done it before, but I know that I can do it. Like, I know that
Yeah.
I've got this. What does the Pratt and Whitney girl look like? And I
Yeah.
actually did that exercise one afternoon. What does the Pratt and Whitney girl do?
Yes.
What does she think? What does she say? How does she show up? How does she talk to
Yes.
people? Why is she there?
Hmm.
And gosh darn it, if it isn't all working. it's
And
it's it's
it's
working. It's great because I gave some thought to it, and people like the Pratt and Whitney girl, and
yeah.
people like the recovery coach, and people like the yoga
Yeah.
teacher, and people
Yeah.
like me. it's it's an
Huh.
incredible it's an incredible, and that's a really amazing thing to be able to say, because for most of my
Mm,
life it's like, everybody, like, nobody cares. I've gone
yeah.
from nobody cares to, gosh darn it, people like me. What was that thing on,
Oh.
on
Oh yeah,
Saturday
that
Night Live?
Saturday night.
Remember
Yeah, I do.
that?